Well, this President's Day marked by several protests across the country in the name of numerous ideas. In Greenville, South Carolina, about a couple hundred people gathered from noon until 3 in front of City Hall. Many were holding handmade signs, chanting, and even playing music as part of a social media movement called Not My President's Day. They wanted to show their displeasure of President Donald Trump's executive orders and Elon Musk's involvement in the federal government. While those at today's protest voiced alarm, local Republicans disagreed.
There's a lot of different feelings that people have about what is going on right now, and we need somewhere to channel that into something that actually makes a difference.
Protesting against Trump, unless they're in the minority right now, because Republicans are very happy, as are a lot of Democrats, with what he's doing.
In Columbia, protesters lined the sidewalks in front of the State House, waving signs expressing sentiments similar to those in Greenville. Closer to home, this was Uptown Charlotte this afternoon. Hundreds of protesters rallying against Jefferson Griffin, who's one of many protests across the state for this. Now, he's challenging the results of North Carolina's Supreme Court seat race, the only uncalled race left in the entire country. Several recounts show him losing to Democratic incumbent Allison Riggs. WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay was there and breaks down how we got here.
Griffin's complaint only targets mail-in and early votes over what he says is incomplete registration, but others have found it was a database issue. I've spoken to multiple people on this list, and they all say they just want their vote to count.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This crowd, hundreds strong, but only a fraction of the votes challenged. Judge Jefferson Griffin saying more than 60,000 ballots should be tossed out. But voters like Ken McCauley never learned why.
Is there something I need to do with my voter registration? I'm not sure.
He and his wife traveled to Charlotte from Lincoln County. After being very active voters, even election workers in Virginia, they just voted for the first time in North Carolina. But despite registering at the same time, the same way, his wife wasn't on the list.
And it was just weird that all of a sudden my vote doesn't count for this one election.
For others, the concern feels more personal. Shayna Blake joined the protest on behalf of her grandmother.
They said that her signature didn't match, but she's 101. She doesn't really have any sight much, so, and her hands are arthritic,
Though the turnout gave her hope, Blake says the challenge makes her anxious for the future.
She actually lived through getting the chance to vote, only to live in this time where her vote has been denied.
Just last week, a judge ruled in favor of Justice Allison Riggs. Griffin quickly appealed. While a final decision could now be months out, protests like this all across the state hope to carry their voices all the way to Raleigh. We also had a viewer reach out to us and ask who is paying for all of these appeals. Both Griffin and Riggs do have legal funds set up, but I'll be taking a closer look at who has donated so far. And if you have any more questions about this race, you can text them to us at 704-329-3600. Back to you.